What is going on, guys? Gavin here, and today I want to go over the Amazement deck that I took to my locals today. So I played this deck for two reasons. One, because I felt like it has a pretty good matchup against a lot of those mid-range decks that are pretty popular in the meta right now, but also I just haven't played this deck in a while, and I just wanted to bring it out and catch some people by surprise. So yeah, I brought it. I went 2-1 today. I lost in the finals. It actually performed really well. It's just that I played Virtual World in the finals, and it didn't really go my way. I bricked in game 2, and I just didn't really open enough traps to stop my opponent during game 1. So anyways, I really liked the way it played, and I just wanted to share with you guys. So let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. Okay, to start for the main deck, we played triple copies of Kamika. So Kamika is just a really solid normal summon, allowing you to set a Amaze Attraction Trap directly from your deck when you normal summon her, so that's really good. Also, she has like kind of a switcheroo effect where you can swap the an equipped trap to a different monster, so like you can equip it to a different monster on the field, which is really nice. It allows you to kind of bypass targeting protection, so that's just definitely something you should keep in mind when you play this deck. Just overall, a really solid card. And then triple copies of Arliquino. So Arliquino is the boss monster of this archetype, and he is really good because he allows you to basically, when your opponent's normal or special summons a monster, you can equip an Amaze Attraction Trap from your deck onto that card. So you can either use it to get a Cyclone to get extra gas, or you can use it to get a house to provide additional disruption so that you can flip those monsters face down so they can't be used for like the summon of an extra deck monster. So that's really good, and he really just helps simplify the game state down. And then on top of that, on your turn, basically you can banish Amaze Attraction Traps from your graveyard and then pop that many cards your opponent controls. So he can just really clean up boards, and he doesn't like, this deck doesn't put up tons of offensive pressure, but with enough turns of like just swinging with Kamika and Arliquino into like a clear board, you'll win the game in like 2 or 3 turns. So that's kind of the way this deck functions. So yeah, these cards are just really essential and really good. I don't play Delia because, if I'm being quite honest, like Delia kind of sucks. So sorry, Delia, you missed the cut. But I guess she could be sort of good for trying to make rank 4s, I guess. Then we played Lord of the Heavenly Prison. So this card was really insane because it protects your back row before your opponent tries to destroy it. So a big problem that like back row decks have, like back when I used to play Paleozoic a lot, I would often lose games because my opponents would just destroy my back row before I even got the chance to activate it. And now with cards like Destroy Phoenix Enforcer running around, that's more prevalent than ever. So this card really does help you a lot because you can just activate it to preemptively protect all your back row, and then go ahead and set it and just activate the back row, on your opponent's turn, like one at a time, so they can't actually like, just blow you out with like a Feather Duster or whatever, or your Phoenix Enforcer or whatnot. So this card saved me today against a Masked Hero Acid. So I was playing against heroes. He went Mass Change into Masked Hero Acid and tried to pop all my back row, but I just gave him the friendly reminder that this card was indeed revealed in my hand, and he was real sad because it actually did nothing. And then for the other monster we play one Ecclesia just to fetch us Dogmatic Punishment. It's an additional normal summon, but also we have the Titanic Clad to special summon it on occasion. For the spell lineup, it was just 6 spells, triple Extrav and triple Time Ticket. Basically, Extrav just gets you that +1 because we really don't care about our extra at all. And then Time Ticket is just really good because on your turn it searches a monster, like an Amazement monster, and on your opponent's turn it sets directly from your deck. If you're afraid of Ash, definitely wait for your opponent's turn to use this card so that you can, set a card instead of, risk getting ashed. So like a lot of the times turn 1 I won't even use this card unless I get ashed on like the Kamika or whatever. So a lot of the times I just like to set it. Then for the trap lineup, we played triple copies of House because I'm afraid to say this card's full name. But basically this card is just really good, allowing you to flip your opponent's monsters face down or negate their effects depending on whichever one you want to use. This card is just really nice utility, and it pretty much just gets itself into the graveyard to set up for an Arliquino so that you get an additional pop on your opponent's turn. So I love this card a lot. And then we play triple Coaster. So Coaster's just really good for getting you extra gas and grindier games. a lot of the times I just pretty much never use the effect to pop spell and trap cards because it's just better to be able to keep getting those resources back into your hand with this card. So yeah, unless I really need to pop something like a Mystic Mine or a Floodgate or something like that, I generally won't use this card for that. So and then we do play the 1 copy of Rapid Racing. Basically this card is like it just shuffles back stuff every single turn, which is incredible. Basically I use this against the hero player to shuffle back Destiny Hero, Malicious, and then during draw phase I use it again to shuffle back the Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. So it just can get you so much value if this card sticks around and can kind of shut your opponent out of the game if they're playing a graveyard reliant strategy. So this card was definitely MVP in some of those matchups. Then we played triple copy of Torrential Tribute. Basically, this card just really helps you break boards. Not really much else that needs to be said there. It just can kind of blow your opponent out, and by itself it's not the best, but when you combine it with a bunch of other traps, it can really just come in clutch. We played triple copies of Punishment. So Punishment is just really good for cleaning up boards. Just, Elder Entity Entis allows you to go 2 for 1. It's nothing new here. This card is just really, really value, in my opinion. Triple copies of Imperm. This card kind of underperformed today. I might cut it in the future, but in theory, it can be good if your opponent's just playing a fast deck and you just need answers on turn 0. So that's why I decided to play it. But obviously, if the game becomes a little bit slower than it is now, even you might consider playing stuff like Lost Wind, so you can get double value out of the card instead of just single use. And then this card was really MVP today, Ice Dragon's Prison. So ever since the Megatons came out, this card became affordable. So I had never really played this card before the Megatons came out, but honestly, I realize now the power of this card. All the tribal decks in the meta right now just fold really hard to this card. It's insane. It comes in clutch so often against stuff like Dinosaur, Heroes, Sword Soul, all those decks just really hate this card. So I would consider bumping it up to 3, but there are matchups where it really isn't great, so it's really up to you. 1 copy of Trap Trick. So this is another card that you could potentially set off of the Lord of the Heavenly Prison, just because a lot of the times you don't know exactly what you want to set, and if you would set any trap card and you set the wrong one, basically you would never be able to use it because it would just get banished. But Trap Trick pretty much ensures that it acts as an intermediary per se, so that you don't actually waste your King of the Sky Prison if you wanted to set something more specific than a Extrav or something like that, if you actually want to be a little bit more proactive with it. So Trap Trick is kind of in there to be that intermediary. And then we play triple copies of There Can Be Only One. So this card is just, it locks those tribal decks out of the game and they can't play. And then to round it off, triple copies of Solemn Strike, because you can never play too many copies of Solemn Strike. This card is absolutely amazing, and I would just play 5 or 6 if I could. So that's it for the main deck. Let's go ahead and go into the extra deck real quick. Okay, to start for the extra deck, we play triple copies of Entis. So this card is really just amazing. It's the best card in the extra deck and allows you to go 2 for 1 off of Dogmatic of Punishment. It's really nothing new, nothing complicated, just same old, just really strong. 1 copy of Wind Pegasus, basically just a worse Entis because it doesn't act immediately, but it can be decent to just have sitting around in your graveyard. But there is always the chance that you banish all 3 of your Entis off of Pot of Extravagance, so just nice to have backups. Triple copies of Titaniclad. This card is basically in here for if we want to send it off Punishment so that we can summon Ecclesia during the end phase. That's really what it's in here for. Then we played 2 copies of Utopia and 2 copies of Utopia the Lightning. I never made these. It's really rare that you ever make any of the rank 4s, but I suppose it could come up. The reason why I played this is because I used to play it because Dragoon was really popular back in the day, but now Destroy Phoenix Enforcer is kind of taken that role, and I haven't seen Dragoon since Burst of Destiny came out. It's really crazy because I still think Dragoon is a really strong card, but Anyways, Utopia the Lightning can theoretically just beat over stuff because it can't be responded to and just goes up to 5,000 attack. So, you know, it can be useful sometimes, I guess, in theory. And then for some utility stuff, we just played one Dweller, one Baguska, one Dugaris, and one Tsukiyomi. Basically, Dweller shut off the graveyard, Baguska to put everything in defense, slow down the game state. Dugaris because he can, all of his effects are pretty nice. He can allow you to, you know, also beat over stuff with Arliquino because he can boost Arliquino up to, I believe, 5,200 attack. And then Tsukiyomi can basically just draw you two, which can be nice sometimes if you have a dead card in your hand. But yeah, I only really made the Baguska today because it was like the only rank 4 that I had left after using Pot of Prosperity like twice, so it was just whatever. But yeah, that's it for the extra deck, and let's go ahead and breeze through the side deck just real quick. Okay, to breeze through the side deck real quick, we just played triple copies of DD Crow because in theory it should be good against Destroy Phoenix Enforcer or any of those, you know, graveyard heavy decks. Then triple copies of Lava Golem. This card is just really solid for breaking combo boards. The one game that I did side this card in, I just bricked on all 3, which I just couldn't believe. I bricked on triple Lava Golem, 2 evenly matched, and my 6th card was DD Crow against a virtual world player who also bricked. So that was a really fun game. I just couldn't do anything. And then the one engine card I drew, he had Gamma in hand for it, and he just negated it. So I was really sad, and I just couldn't believe how hard I had bricked on all my side deck cards. But yeah, the triple evenly matched, triple Lava Golem, triple DD Crow. And then to round it off, we just played triple copies of Solemn Strike. Obviously just a going first power card. And then triple stall turn because in theory this card helps you against decks that put up tons of Omni negates. So when they do negate stuff like your Torrential Tribute, you can just go ahead and use stall turn to shuffle their monster back into the deck and resolve that Torrential Tribute. So, you know, it's like great value Solemn Strike. Basically, the way trap decks kind of work right now is obviously Solemn Strike is the premium, and then you're always just kind of looking for something like 3 more copies of like a worse Solemn Strike. So either Broken Line or Stall Turn or something else to kind of help you out there because nothing is as good as Solemn Strike, and you would be playing 6 copies of Solemn Strike if you could. But anyways, guys, that is it for the deck profile. If you made it all the way to the end, I appreciate you so much for watching. But with that, we are going to leave you with a peace out, have a nice day, and goodbye.